Well, we can already tell because what did he take a swing at Chifu like in the middle of talking like that? He goes, "Oh, you're good." Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh man, who does that, man? Who does that, my man? Like,
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility.
Welcome back, anime people. We back for a video, our weekly video, talking about our two animes that we've been dissecting for y'all right here. Tokyo Revengers, Vinland Saga. They both have been making progress, I guess, if that's the word I'm going to use. Episode 4 for each of them, so it's still early, but it should be getting into the part of storytelling now, where you've already gotten enough, like we talked about, enough meat to just start going into it. Which one you want to start on? Do you want to start on Tokyo? Or you want to start on Vinland?
I think we've been starting on Tokyo, then Vinland, and then switching it up, or what have we been doing? How have you been presenting it?
Man,
One and one
however you
don't
want. Yeah, it
matter.
don't matter, bro.
All right, let's go ahead and get Vinland out the way. Get that
Yeah.
dog trash of a 4 episodes. Okay, so stylistic, yes, it was great. We already established that. That is why I always give Vinland at least a passing of 1 and 2 stars, right? Because stylistic, great. They're awesome, man. I mean, you can't compare. I mean, it's almost on the levels of almost like little, like not little, about a margin under Demon Slayer on style,
Yeah.
right? Like animation, the flow of the animation. You don't have that breakdown in animation whenever they pan or do something. So stylistic, great, man, really good. They do good on that. Storytelling at this point right now is horrid, man. I mean, that's why like I can't get behind with all these guys on Twitter that are talking about, oh, it's such a foreshadowing. Yeah, it's like, dude, you're copying the old way and looking like restyling it. That's called time saving art. Okay, they're time saving it. They just repainted it. You do know that, right? Like, I don't understand these people, right? Like they just repainted the pictures, right? And said, okay, we're good. Like that's called time savers, bro. Like we do it in an industry all day long, So copy paste, right? So that being said, my gripes are over. So let's talk about Vinland Saga. So we start off the episode of Thorfinn and Eren getting patched up, right? Um, Snake really introduces himself and starts talking about who he is and what's his expectations for the group. So Badger and Fox, basically Snake punches Fox in the face and like breaks his teeth out and everything in his nose, and the amount of teeth these people be losing in these animes with 10th century dental work. I honestly think they're biting with one tooth at this point, right? They're just
Yeah.
like gumming on those meats and stuff, man. 'Cause no wonder, it makes sense why they're always eating soup, It's because ain't
Yeah,
nobody
yeah,
got
that
no
makes
damn eating, right? So, that being said, so it starts showing a little more character development in Thorfinn. He's waking up a little bit. Eden is really starting to really reflect on who Thorfinn is. So because he's been telling him little bits and pieces, so Thorfinn finally like admits to him, hey, like I was with the Danish when we raided England, and I was 5 and 6 years old, and I was killed so many people in my life that I lost count. And so it started really resonating to Eden when he started thinking about it and was like, oh man, yeah, that's right, dude. Like when the Danish came and burned down my city, our village, he killed my father, and he killed all my friends, and just my mom and my sister and myself got away, and then he goes back and says, starts to really think and reflect about it. Did we miss anything? Like, was it so impactful this episode? I really don't think so. Not the way people are making it out to seem. It wasn't like we found anything new. We already suspected Thorfinn had raided his village at one time, or was part of the party that raided his village. Like, or possibly, not saying he maybe indirectly, but possibly raided the village. They didn't really, they alluded to it, but didn't really say like, hey, Thorfinn's party with the Asgard, like raided the party, raided his village. So we don't really know, but like at the same token, man, it's like we already knew that kind of stuff. It wasn't like something surprising. We knew at one point Eren was going to be like, hey, dude, you raided my family, you raided England. I'm going to get, some type of revenge, right? So and Thorfinn tells them, what happened and everything. So they make it back to the site. There was one funny note though. So they're talking to the main like slave master, right? And so he's patching him up, and he goes, he says, he goes, man, it seems like the master doesn't know what to do with their attitudes either. He can't do anything. They're gonna kill him if they revolt, right? So he's like, I don't know, the master doesn't know what to do either. He goes, but at least he didn't die. And he was like, and then everyone was like, well, they almost killed us. He was like, well, did you die? like
Yeah.
So that was funny. Man. I was like, yeah, true, man. Thorfinn was like shaking his head too, like, yeah, man, nothing to
Kind of
complain
close.
about. We didn't die, right? So I like that part. That was pretty funny. And so they make it back to the little hut thing, little barn. They're sleeping, and Eren is like wide awake, contemplating life, contemplating everything, reminiscing about how his family got killed, and then he, takes it upon himself, like, hey, Thorfinn is right. He has killed a lot of people. His Danish people killed my English people. So he makes his way over to Thorfinn and starts choking the life out of him, and then like Thorfinn, he's a battle hardened guy. Like he doesn't even really feel Eren, like even choking him, because I guess he's been close to death so many times. It's like, it's natural for him. So he's just like sleeping, and then but that's when they start doing the similes. So this one of the Twitter guys, he posted it about how it was the nightmare wasn't what he was dreaming at that moment. The nightmare, the real nightmare, was when Thorfinn was actually in battle. So they go through a sequence where Thorfinn is cutting down some English soldiers and everything, and that wasn't the nightmare. Him dreaming at that moment, that wasn't the real nightmare. Was him actually performing those acts. So his subconscious sort of like washed out those faces and those people, so that like his brain can accept what he was doing, at a young age, because even though this isn't a time of warfare, we still have to remember he was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he's at 18 at this moment, or 17, 18 at this moment. So, we got to understand, like, he literally in those 10 years was growing up, like with death on his mind, and then so they show in the character development sense that all the souls that he took is weighing on his heart, and that's why he has that mentality right now. Like that's why he has that guilt. So he has this overwhelming guilt of like he has destroyed so many lives, and he doesn't know how to process it, because we're not meant to kill like that, right? We're not meant to be murderers and killers. It's not in our it's in our blood, but we fight against that daily, right? To do bad things, right? So that's why he's having a conflict of heart, and it's like I know what I'm doing is bad, but at the same time I'm fighting for my life. It's a survival game, right? So he basically he wakes up. Eren is having his arms around him. Eren notices like he's choking him, and he's not fazed by it. So he like ease up, and then when he ease up, then Thorfinn like, I'm dying, and he's like freaking out and stuff like that. And Eden's just sitting in the corner like some post-traumatic stress syndrome guy, just PTSD, man. He's just like in the corner, like shaking, right? So and then he wakes up, Thorfinn wakes up from his nightmare and was like, hey, you know, like I'm weighing on my heart, I have a lot of, death on my hands, like you understand that, right? And he's like, yeah, I understand that, but he goes like, look, he goes, then he thinks back and thinks like, what it is to be alive. Why am I alive? And, Eden is like, hey, you're alive because someone believes in you. Whether it's God, Odin in their sense, God or Odin or whomever, they were like, somebody believes in you, somebody wants you here. So cherish your life, you're alive for a reason. So live, live your life, don't live like this. You gotta pull your bootstraps up and quit being a little wuss, is basically what he was saying. And then he ended up just, that was the episode. Did we miss anything? No. Did he grow? Little, like he grew a little with Thorfinn, but nothing. Like the visiting, you realize, and this is what I'm telling those Twitter people, you crazy nuts. You do realize all we did was watch up season 1 for all the action, right? Like it was season 1, just copy, print, copy paste, colored up, change, and like, dude, they didn't put no new action in there.
They literally they literally showed Askelade's like body in Snake's eye, and then the rest of it was just reminiscent of them pillaging freaking villages. And we had already guessed that. Yeah, like we already guessed that he had already been a part of the stuff. I mean, I think you guessed it like episode 1 or 2. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is kind of what we figured. Now in episode 4, it's like it wasn't a big shock. Like it's not something where I was like, oh my gosh, he was a part. Like we got confirmation.
We knew at one point. Yeah, we knew at one point Iden was gonna try something against Thorfinn. Yeah. He's gonna put like 2 and 2 together and realize Thorfinn was, part of the Danish army, and then wanted do some revenging. But at the same time, Iden is not like so. Like to me, the way I feel with Iden is that he has that Christian mentality, right? Forgive for the sins of other people, right? And so he I think, like, I know it's not explicitly saying that he's Christian or anything like that, because they really don't give a hey, this is religion, right? So being that they're early English, more than likely there was some type of Protestant, some type of Christians, so that being said, he forgave Thorfinn for the sins he's committed, right? And then at the same time, that's why he told him, he was like, hey, somebody wants you here on this earth, so you gotta buck up, quit being a little wuss about it, and but yeah, man, it was awful, man. Like I don't know how people like, yeah, dude, I agree, like a 3-star, like 2.5 star, like that's my rating for this episode, because I watched it twice, because I was like, okay, the first time I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is stupid. I went on the Twitters and I started reading, and everybody was like, oh my God, this is the best episode so far. It's so in depth. And I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. Like let me rewatch it with intensity. So I did. I rewatched it with intensity. I'm like, okay, I didn't miss anything. Like there was nothing in there that was like, oh my God. Like then they show Clute at the end, Prince Clute at the end, or King Clute at the end, and they're like, oh my God, this is so bad. But I don't know how far we can take those S words. I was like, so you're like, oh, It was like, this is so. Everybody was like, this is so awesome. I'm like, have you ever watched an anime before? Like, yeah, dude. They always tease at the end. Like, no, man. Like, hopefully, everybody's saying episode 5 is supposed to be into the battle scene. Like we're gonna supposed to be getting it. So I got this from leisurebite.com. Let me give you the author. The author is same dude, Sidhat, and his verdict, and I agree with it, is Vinland Saga season 2 episode 4 was an outing that the showrunners worked very hard for. I agree, like they worked on it, but at the same time, it felt like they had to do this because the current plot isn't enough to make up for everything else on its own. Like, that's what we have been preaching since episode 2, right? Like,
Yep.
dude, like, where's the story going? Like they're doing nothing every episode, 1, 2, and 3. Like, they did nothing to drive the story forward. Like,
And,
nothing
and
drove the story forward.
it's very weird because when you get time skips, especially in anime, they try to give you a lot. So you understand the time skip that's happening. So it's like, I'm gonna throw a time skip, but I'm gonna give you enough to know what's going on. They time skipped it and they're literally just dragging you along like those logs they did in like episode 2, because I don't know where it's going. I don't know what war we're getting. I don't know what plays a part in anything. So I'm just sitting here like, all right, I'm gonna wait, I guess. And I mean, I'm invested because I'm on season 2. It's a new season. I want to get through it, but it's just like, oh man, I get something? Like, if all the people on Twitter that were like, "Oh, we saw King Canute," you can see him in the freaking intro. They showed him at least 3 times in there. Like, I know what he looks like in the time skip already. I don't need to see him at the end of this to be like, "Oh man, I can't wait now." Like,
No, I totally agree. So, as far as like what we're headed to, right?
yeah,
So, Prince Clute and it's well, so it's not really following history, right? Like in
yeah,
history, his father and Prince Clute. I forgot his father's name for some reason; it's escaping me. But his father and Prince Clute, the king and Prince Clute, right? They basically start their war path through England, and they start taking down Saxons, and they start taking down the English, and they start the Sags. They start taking them down, and they start basically taking over England. So that's where we're headed to. Like, that's the battles that we're headed to. Like
yeah,
the York towns, we're headed into taking down Saxon, we're down taking down Essex and Sussex,
yeah,
we're taking down those areas, so that's where we're headed to. That's the whole battle scenes, and dude, like it's like in history, it's bloody, it's gory, it's battle after battle. I mean, I think it was like almost 10 years that they fought. So it's like it's no, not 10 years. I think it's a little less than that, but it's like a long time battle. So it's like you remember, like you're marching your army across, like from Houston to like Amarillo, like you're marching, you're walking it. So it's like it's not going to be a day, it's going to
yeah,
be a
yeah,
month before you arrive somewhere, right?
yeah,
So it's that kind of situation, so it like takes forever to do anything, and so that being said, it's like that's the kind of battle and that's why I say, like, hey, we're great, but we're already 5 episodes in. Netflix only signs 10, 11, maybe 11, 12 if you're fortunate, like 12 episodes, but it's like we're already halfway through the damn season and nothing has happened. Like nothing has happened in this thing. And that's why I told them earlier before we started, right? I told you I like I like leisure.com because leisurebite.com. I like this author, this anime guy. We were almost on the same page about everything. He's like, yeah, dude, they work hard. Like, animation is great. One
yeah,
star. Vinland Saga being an awesome manga and an awesome goddamn thing. 1 star. Story so far, 0.5. That's what I'm saying. Like moving forward, nothing has happened. They don't like. They have a whole manga to tell them what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on here? Like what, dude? Like so. I'm not on the bandwagon, man. I'm on Twitter fighting for the soul of this anime because the few people who are like, yeah, this is great, it's like, hey, the rate viewing eyes are what's gonna drive this, not how great you think it was. So that's my rant. I met my time limit. Nick, I'm sorry I took up this whole But it's just I vouch for it, man, and I gotta fight for it somehow.
It sure was not on my list of talking animes only, and I've gotten a lot of that from it. But I'll agree with yours. I give it a 3.5. I agree that the animation was awesome. I there's never a part except like that one time they did the corn or the wheat husks and all that stuff. That was kind of like, all right, y'all got lazy this episode, but the animation this episode is pretty good. And I mean, I guess the end credit, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch next one because it looks like I'm getting more characters and all that. But yeah, there was nothing that drove the needle for me in this of a thing. So y'all get a 3.5 for me this week.
I gave it a 2.5. You being super generous.
Oh, well, then,
I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Yeah. I was like, you gave it a high one.
I'll be nice. I'll give it a 3. I think I gave last week it's like a 3.5. So yeah, I'll go down 1 or a half of 1.
Nah, man. I look, man. I love anime, but I'm not afraid to say when you're doing wrong. But I was gonna bring up one point about recapping an entire anime, right? An entire season, an entire arc, in like a couple of episodes. And I give you a perfect example, and that's Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, after a long arc, would have a time skip, right? Because remember, we went after Cell. Gohan grew up, right?
Yep.
Gohan grew up. They had another kid, and they told us in 2 episodes everything that had happened.
Yep.
Like Krillin and Android 18 getting married, having a baby. Yamcha, they just shows up, cool, in his new car with a cash full of money. You know what I'm saying? Trunks shows up. Goten shows up. What's his name's in college now? You know what I'm saying? Gohan's in college. Like they did it in 2 episodes. Then they spread out a little bit, like everybody else joining in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But they still driven the story forward. They were still moving the story forward.
Yeah.
We're still finding out new things. Learning new things about DBZ. So can you do it in a few episodes? Yeah, you can. Like this whole thing that all these Japanese and it's not even the manga. I'm not even saying that. Japanese studio artists that are storytellers that want to be so avant-garde about this crap. It's like, dude, it got to stop, man. It has to stop because they're ruining season 2s. Like dog gutter ruin. Like perfect. Another example they did. One Punch Man season 1. Boom. They put that together on a shoestring budget and at the last minute. The author, the actual studio producer of One Punch Man was calling in all of his favors to get everybody working on that project. And best thing that we have seen in a long time, One Punch Man came out. When it came out, it was like, oh my God, it changed everything, right? Season 2, they put the money, they put the budget, they put the story plan together, and what happened? what happened? We had a whole shopping day. A whole shopping day we spent with Saitama and Gio. Oh, I forgot his name, but G starts with the G.
Yeah, yeah,
Shopping. Genos. Shopping. Shopping. Like, dude, come on, man.
yeah.
Dude, it's bonkers, bro. It's bonkers. But yeah, so that's my rant. That's all you getting out of me today on Vinland Saga. So Nick, I turn it over to you, purveyor of Tokyo Revengers, because we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
We got
We got episode 4. Yeah, episode 4 came out, and like we always say, Tokyo Revengers is a talking anime. We know it. It has a lot of depth, a lot of talking, getting to know the mystery part of it. So we expect it, but it can be exciting at times. It can when they drive the story of it, and this one was pretty much about driving the story. It seemed like, of course, we left off with Mitsuya was basically saying that he didn't want to let Haki leave the gang, and it started off basically right there where we left off. And he was like, "I'm not gonna let you leave. I want to talk to your brother, and I want to figure out, every single thing that's going on." And so sets it up with his brother Taiju, and which, as y'all know, Taiju's the 10th generation Black Dragon leader, and they're in there talking. It's funny because he asked Shifu and Takamichi, like, why are they here, and they're just kind of like, well, we're here because I got beat up by him. And he's like, I'm here because Takamichi's an idiot. And it's funny because they call each other idiots all the time, but we really know why they're there, because they want to know what's going on. They both know that the future matters with this deal. And you really think that Mitsuya is going to tell Taijin that, hey, you're not taking your brother, but he does a whole like 180, and he's like, you can have him, but I'm gonna save his sister. Which you get a little backstory of their family, of like why his brother is scared of his older brother, and he used to basically hit his little sister, hit him, and he would like beat him, and to make him, I guess, stronger, to make him more valuable to the family, to his thought of, they didn't really have parent figures. His dad was, I believe, an alcoholic. His mom was gone. So the living conditions were terrible, and you find that out. And then it comes into Misuya basically telling his sister, "Hey, your brother saved you. This is really why the deal was made." And then it goes into another split with Mikey just basically sitting on the bike, and I think he was finally eating that pancake that Takamichi tried to give him. It seemed like, and then he tells him to go for a ride with him, and they were supposed to be going to a captain meeting, and they ended up wandering off on the freeway. And they're at like a bright, I think it's like a bright Christmas tree. It looks like that's the time of the year that they're in. And he's talking to him, and he turns around to Masuya, and he's like, you're an original. You're one of the original of Taja. He goes, I just promise me you'll never leave. And then he pretty much promises him that he'll forget about the Black Dragons, and they don't want to go. It's kind of like Mikey's already at that point where he doesn't want to lose any more people after the Baji stuff and everything. So he really just wants to let it go and move on with it all. And he of course tells him, hey, I'm never leaving. That's fine. I'll forget about the Black Dragons. Don't worry about it. But as we know, Takamichi knows what he needs to do, so he's not letting it go. So him and Shifu go to they're at like a diner, I believe, and they're all talking to all the division captains and everything, and they're talking to Dragon why they feel that they should go up against the Black Dragons. And he basically tells them, no, you're not going against them. You're going to end up basically going against the wishes that and the truce that was set between the two. And everybody's kind of like, oh well, why are we even having this conversation? And Takamichi and Shifu tell him that the plan of what he's trying to actually go up against the whole time is that Taiju's brother Haki is gonna basically try to kill him from the inside of the thing because he knows he's not gonna let his sister go. He's seen it before, and he knows that his brother can't be trusted. So now the future that he saw in the beginning of this season and the end of last season, he doesn't want that to happen because he knows if he takes a lead, he kills his brother, he takes over Black Dragons, and it changes everything. And so they're really trying to find a way to get around it. And then the interesting part is that after all this happens, he's talking to Shifu like, how can we do this? We have to do it by ourselves. And surprisingly, Kisaki, the main guy that everybody's like looking at as the guy, the antagonist of the whole thing, pretty much offers him like, hey, I'm here to help you. Like, what is your plan? Like, y'all two can't take him down. And then, but he does throw a jab. He always throws jabs, and so he throws a jab like, "Oh, Mikey's weak right now. I don't want Black Dragons to get any stronger. I want to take him down now." And Shifu gets really pissed. He flips out, gets like breaks a plate and like holds it to his neck, and he's like, "Yo, you're not gonna talk about my leader like that. Like, you need to take this back." And sure enough, Takamichi then gets caught by Kisaki's person. I forget his name. He ends up having like a switchblade knife to his neck.
Oh yeah,
And he ends up, yeah, the one from Valhalla. He ends up putting it to his neck. Oh, Hanma. Yeah, Hanma puts a switchblade to his neck and threatens basically to attack him if he doesn't stop. So then the thing is, it ends up where they end up in it's like a nightclub, I guess. And Kasaki's telling him
karaoke,
like, oh, karaoke. There we go.
karaoke
Yeah,
bar.
yeah. Yeah, karaoke bar. That makes
Karaoke,
way
yeah.
more sense there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then he's in there and he's telling him like, hey, I've been informing the Black Dragons, don't worry about it. And you start to see the guy, he's talking to him about, his boss and how he is, and who he's with. He's always with guards all the time. But then boom, Black Dragons walk in and what's it called? Coco ends up realizing that oh, we have a rat, we have an informant here. So they take him away, and he looks at all four of them, and he's like, "I'll give you information for 100 or 10,000 yen." And so they give it to him, and he starts telling them like, "Oh, if you want to meet, my boss alone, this is the one day that he's alone, and it's on Christmas Day because he's a religious guy, and nobody's around him." And they're kind of shocked, like, why are you giving us this info? And it's funny because you see how crazy they are, where he's like, I only want to follow somebody that's strong, and I know that he could take all four of you on at the same time, so it really doesn't bother me. And they're kind of just like, what the heck? And so it's an interesting plan because uh when they did it, you're thinking that they're going after Taiju like to take him on like 4 against 1, but really it wasn't even that. They're really trying to just stop Haki from killing his brother and that's where it like kind of gives you that end point of it. And so it really I feel an episode for me that just had a lot of talking, but had a lot of depth to it, like a lot of the story depth of where everybody in Toman is thinking at right now, and how Black Dragon and Toman are going to just at some point collide because you have multiple people, either Mikey and them not wanting to do anything, and then you have other captains, at least two of them, that are trying to push to do something to stop them and get their guy back. Because Kisaki, I mean, to see Kisaki and Takamichi working together, I knew at some point it would happen, but it's funny and it's kind of weird because you already know from the past that he tries to kill Shifu and Takamichi also. So it's going to be interesting to see all of them work together in that aspect.
Good man. It was great synopsis, man. I really like that. Um, yeah. So, Hajime is his name. Hajime.
Yes.
Hajime. Hajime. Yeah. Yeah. He said, "Oh, like ooh,
Wait,
Coco."
which one? For
The one he met inside the karaoke is Hajime. Hajime.
oh yeah, I read it totally wrong. I read Coco, but that was the other guy.
Yeah, yeah. It's Hajime.
I think that's his
Yeah.
nickname though.
Could
Yeah, that's
be.
his.
I'm.
I think that's his
Yeah.
nickname because
Oh,
yeah.
Coco Noi is his last name.
So that's why. Okay, yeah.
Coco Noi
I was
is
like,
his
I
last.
don't remember that being his
Yeah,
name, but hey,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, his nickname Coco. Yeah, Hajime. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He had nickname Coco. Yeah.
I said
uh,
it. I didn't feel
and then
confident saying it. I was like, I don't know if it's the right guy, but
and then what's it called? The pancake. I couldn't remember the name of it. And it was killing me, man. It's Dora Yaki. Dora Yaki is what it is.
okay.
Those are little dude. You can get. I think if you get them straight in Japan, they're like freaking amazing. You know, but
Yeah.
shipped to the U.S., man, those things are like stale, nasty cake, rice bean cakes. You know, like if they made them fresh in the U.S., maybe yeah, I'll be like, heck yeah, dude. But nah, the little packaged ones are disgusting, man. I tried
Uh,
so hard, so many years. I ain't gonna front for them no more. Not after all the other cool stuff I did. So,
right.
Mitsuya, yeah, so it was kind of really interesting with Mitsuya, man. I mean, we find out that Hakai, Hakai, he kind of sees himself in Mitsuya, right? Like as a what an older brother should be, right? An older brother should be caring, loving, taking care of his family, because he finds out Mitsuya lives by himself. Well, not lives by himself, but has his own mom who works super late. So he's taking care of his, younger sister and his younger brother, feeding them and stuff like that. So he's like, man, this is what a brother should be, right? So he said even whenever he was Mitsuya gave him some food, he was crying when he was eating it when he was done because he was like, this is brotherly compassion, right? So he finds himself a brother in Mitsuya. They're around the same age, like he's like this is what a true brother is, right? And so yeah, definitely. I like that comparison. It was real good. It was real nice. Because now we understand like their connection. Why he's so loyal to Mitsuya, right? And it's because it's that. He wants an older brother like that, right? Because he's and all in all, Hakai is a nice dude, right? He's not hardcore. He has to be hardcore because his brother. So you gotta help me with this, man. How is it that this 8-year-old kid has a very white voice? Man was speaking, yes, I love you, but this is for your own good. Like so freaking sinister, so deep. Like what? No kid
he has
voice, right? Like
he has the
the
same
and I
voice.
get it. Yes, I get it because maybe it's because like Tamagichi is like in his mind he's envisioning this, right? Like because
Yeah,
he's telling the story, so he has no other reference other than
yeah,
his
yeah,
adult self, right? Like, man is speaking with a very white voice at the age of 8. Like
yeah.
nobody caught that. Like I'm like, what? So,
Right.
dude, I was laughing so hard when he spoke, bro. I was like I was expecting some kid voice, and then he like spoke with this very white voice. I was like, oh Jesus, this is crazy. So, uh, so apparently, like he was beating on his sister, Yuzuha, he was beating on her, and so it's like not implied as they got older, but I don't know. It's implied. Like it kind of seems like to me, like he was doing more things than just beating on his sister, right? Because I
Yeah.
guess I watched too many true crimes, too many
Yeah.
documentary type of things, and I'm like, I got a little suspicious
Yeah.
on why he was being so protective. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so it got kind of suspicious about it, because this is an MA manga and it is an MA show. Oh no, I think they dumped it down to 16, but it is like an MA show. Like it kind of like hinted to the fact that there was a little something more going on than what it was really trying to say, right? So,
Yeah.
that's why and it seems like they're from a rich family, so they're from a rich ties because later on when they find out they're like in the actual karaoke room, the connections of like how Black Dragon is able to get away with so much what they're doing is because they're paying off all these people, right? And they have a rich benefactors that they go squeeze money from, and then they're paying off all these people, so it's allowing them to do what they do, right? So so we find that out in towards the end of the episode. But the sibling love that he wants that out of his sister, and that's why he's so protective with her, because he was taking those beatings for her, which was very eye opening. And then in the end, yeah, so Mitsu, I don't think technically he did it out of the like bait and switch his friend. I think him knowing who Hakai was is that he was going to get in there and then ultimately take out his brother. So not Chifu. Sorry about that. Oh, what's his? I was just saying Mitsuya.
Chuya.
Mitsuya, he's playing chess with Hakai.
Yeah.
He just sent that knight into the backfield of the pawns to basically attack the king, right? Or at least push the king out to a more open area so they can fight. Because if he were to take down Hakai, that gives Tomin a reason to attack Black Dragons, So, or if he broke the truce of beating his sister, it breaks the truce and allows Black Dragon to Tomin to fight Black Dragon with all of Tomin, right?
Yeah.
Which Chiyu and Tamagichi don't realize that. Like
Yeah.
they don't understand that. And then he said it, what I said last episode. Remember, what did I say about Tamagichi going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Remember, I said, what did I say about his mental capacity?
Yeah.
I was like, Chifu actually goes, and you're 26 years old? Like, because his mentality is not 26 years old.
Yeah.
He's only 18. He's only
Yeah.
barely an adult. You know what I'm saying? Or like he's an 18, 19, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like he's barely an adult. Yeah, he fast forward to 26 years old, and then he went
Yeah.
back, right? But his mental capacity is not as of an adult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's still as a young adult. So I knew it. I knew that was going to be called out because
He called
he
it.
makes the most dumbest decision or says the dumbest things, like, or does not see through things when you're like, hey, if you're an adult, you can see through these actions, right? You can see these plot points come together, right? Or at least in some type of way, right? Because that's what I said. Like Mitsuya did it on purpose because he knew Taiju was going to keep his promise. So once he broke his promise, it gives Toman permission, basically, to go in with the full force of Toman to take down Black Dragon. But now they're going to go mess it up, do something stupid, and that's why. What's his name? The main villain. Sorry, the one with the
Kisaki.
glasses. What's his name?
Kisaki.
No, not Mikey.
No, Kisaki. Kisaki.
Gisaki.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Kisaki.
yeah, So it sort of gives it sort of get he can see what Mitsuya was doing,
Yeah.
and I think that's his plan is to screw that up or to tip off Taiju early enough to see, wait, this is what's gonna go down, and I think that's what's gonna happen. So that's my prediction in the future. Like he sees what Mitsuya was trying to do, and therefore he's like, I got to stop that because I think he wants it in the end. Black, but I think he does. I think he tries to unite Black Dragon and Toman together, like under. I think they
Yeah.
go under all one umbrella in the end, right?
One brand.
So,
Yeah. One banner.
from season one, right? Like he gets them all like united, and so that's like his plan. Like it's to take out both leaders at the same time, so that he can ultimately get control of the whole game.
Yeah.
Because Black Dragons are enforcers, and Toman is not really enforcers. I don't know how to describe Toman at this moment, because I don't see him shaking down anybody. I don't see him, like what kind of gang are you? Like, you're mischief
Yeah.
gang, I guess. I don't know, man. Like Black Dragon, it's like established. They're shaking people down, Like he was
Yeah.
like, hey, they're shaking these rich people down for money, and that's how they're getting away with all this stuff, right? So that I don't know. I don't know what their end game is. I guess in the future we know because they turned into like a real, an actual game,
Yeah.
and so they're like, but like at this moment we don't know what Tolman really the real thing is, because to me a gang is like mafia style, right? Or like
Yeah.
it's mafia style, but like they go shake down neighborhoods, for protection money, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna protect you. We're gonna protect you after they beat you up. See, you don't want no one else to come and beat you up, so we're gonna beat you up. So
Yeah.
pay us. So, so that being said, that overall, I think this episode, like you said, it pushes the story forward. It moves it it really draws you into the reasoning behind Hakai's uh, killing of his brother, right? Because we know in the
Yeah.
end he does kill his brother, right? But now we know why, right? We know why he was driven to that point. It's because his brother's an abusive person, either sexually or SA. Sorry about that, SA, or or just beating him up, just period.
Yeah.
Well, we can already tell because what did he take a swing at Chifu like in the middle of talking like that? He goes, "Oh, you're good." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh man, who does that, man? Who does that, my man? Like, he's talking, he's like, "Wow," like, like, you ever been in a conversation with somebody, man? He just like
It's
swings
just
on you,
sweet.
like you're having a civil. It wasn't like they were having an argument, dude. It was having a
Yeah.
civil conversation with this man, and he like ninja chopped him in the face, and like, oh yeah, you good? You got some response time. It's like, come on, man. But that kind of gives us a foreshadowing that he knows what kind of man Taiju is.
Yeah.
Like what kind of man he is. He's a man who's gonna surprise you and a man who's going to go back against a truthful word because there was a truce at that second, So, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I like it. It was a really good episode. Kind of slow in the beginning, like the whole beating up brother sister thing, like that kind of okay, cool, but everything else, man. I mean, like I said, when it was getting to the end, man, I was like, oh man, yeah, it's getting good. It's gonna be set it up real good. So I liked it. It was good.
No, yeah, I agree. I think um, the abusive side of it, they kind of went to it, then went away, and then went back to it, and then went away, and then went. It was like, all right, you don't have to do it that many times. Like, I know what happened. He's abusive. He's not all there. All right, I get it. Yeah, so I feel that for sure is was a part they could have just kind of skidded over and then gave us a little more, but they left us on a good cliffhanger. I mean, we kind of know. Well, what was being done within the thing. And it always seems like, I mean, especially after that Valhalla fight, Toman's main goal is to keep growing. And I mean, we've already seen it from the past that Black Dragon becomes a part of Toman somehow, shape, or form, with no matter it's Hakai or whoever is running it. At some point, when the future changes, they're going to collide at some point in the good, bad, or something. And I think it's leading into a good point of it. For me, I'm gonna, I guess I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna rate it a 4. And I only rated a 4 because of the depth of the story it gave me. Of, like you said, it gave us why Hakai doesn't like his brother and why there's that deep fear and everything. It gave us a connection between him and his captain. Um, and then it also gave a little hint of like Mikey where his headspace is at, and then the very end of what's gonna of basically Takamichi and them and Kasaki, what's gonna happen in between them, because Shifu and Takamichi know what he's capable of course, from the ending of last season. But now, where is it going to lead to? And he's so confused and doesn't know what's going on. He can't figure it out right now. And so it really kind of gets me wanting to see the next episode of like, okay, does he figure it out? Does he know that he's probably pulling strings like he always does with him? And I kind of am hyped now for more talking.
Yeah, man. But we know that they're we know that Tokyo Revengers is talking to like I said, we already know. We
Yeah.
know it's about story driven, depth driven. It's not meant. It was never meant to be like some all out, super shonen. I think
Yeah.
to me it's a cross between man, I can't even call it shonen. Like I think it is categorized as shonen because of the sense that it has action in it. You know, um, there's not really a like shojo is more like female driven. Main protagonist story and stuff like that. That's what shojo is really centers itself on. So we can't call it that. So we have to call it a shonen. But it's like almost like a shojo because it's like it's a saga base. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it has that emotional depth in there. It's like we know that it's not going to be all action. We know it's going to be about character driven, character arc, character redemption, character, falling from grace. So it's that kind of storytelling, which is nice. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. It's a good storyteller. And I appreciate that. Vinland Saga, maybe I missed it in the manga. I don't know. But when they rolled out season 1, that thing was not like that. It was action. They said, "Come and check out my action anime," and nowhere did they lie to us. Now, like they're dirty, dirty liars, and I don't like
Which,
that. But all right, my bad. Get Vinland out of your mouth.
no, you get,
Come on. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Way better than Vinland Saga. Like beyond,
yeah.
beyond, beyond Vinland Saga. I give it a definite 4. I'm riding on it. If it had some action in it, I would have definitely 4.5. Definitely
Yeah.
4.5. They had like a little Royal Rumble somewhere, like oh man, like Black Dragon. Like if they were in the karaoke bar, right, in the karaoke room, right, and like they duked it out right there for like about 30, like maybe 15, 16 seconds, I would have been like boom, 4.5. Like
Yeah.
they would have like did a little couple of spins and stuff like that and kicks and stuff, I would have been like boom, 4.5. Like gave us a little bit of action, gave us a little bit of story arc, and we're good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but no, they didn't. Yeah, I was like, so when they opened that door and Coco was in there. I was like, oh damn, man, some knife fight's gonna happen, man. Somebody gonna get stabbed, bro. Like I wanted them to stab that dude right there, Like I don't understand. Everybody's pulling out filetos and showing it to everybody. Like I'm gonna cut you, Like, and now the moment someone needs to get cut, ain't nobody want to do nothing. We're gonna take it to the back, But
Yeah.
to me, Coco's setting them up. Of course, like we can already tell. Like that whole, I only follow the strongest person. That's stupid. It makes zero sense. What
Yeah.
unless truly, what is it? Tate,
Yeah.
the bad one, right? Unless truly his informant is Coco, like his true informant is Coco, and they just sacrificial pawned him, that dude
Yeah.
as like, made it seem like he's it, and then they sacrificed that pawn to get that rook, which is Coco, because they stand side by side next to him, to the king, right? So they use that, and so that being said, I think that's what it was. They sacrificed him because I think Coco is his real informant, and I think him and Take is like their buddy, trying to set everything up, to be like a big old takeover type of thing, because he wants to basically, like I said, take over Black Dragon, take over Tolman, and bring them all to the Majin gang, umbrella,
Yeah.
as one. So yeah, that's my predictions. I liked it. Tokyo Revengers, I'm liking it 100% all the way down the line. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Man. I like it.
all right, man. So what's up, man? So what's going on in the anime's world?
We're finally gonna do our Blue Lock video. I know that's a been thing that people have been wanting us to. You brought it up on one of our other videos. It's a continuation, so it's something that we're gonna probably add in either on this or maybe do it as a separate video. We'll figure it out, but for sure, it's something we're gonna be touching on. Because it's surprisingly a really good. I'm not a big sports anime person, and this is probably one that I'm like actually anticipating every week. Like, oh, okay, I want to watch it. Oh, I want to watch it now. Like, it's up there on my list for sure. Of like, I want to watch it when it comes out, so I know what's going on. I don't want any spoilers. Um, it's building up a nice story of it, I feel. But yeah, so we'll touch on that in another episode, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think our only one commenter fan with the thing. I think they've been waiting like almost a month now. They're like, we apologize, man. We look. You asked us to watch 16 episodes along with all the other animes we watch. You know what I'm saying? Just to get these rolled out, and it's a continuing anime. I think it's about to end, but it's an ongoing anime. So we want to pair it up with something so that that we're driving, making the most out of our work, right? So that being said, we appreciate you. We thank you. Please suggest some more. I don't personally read the comments because I have a very frail ego, and y'all will hurt my feelings very, very much. And then I will never do this again. No, I'm just joking. But Nick is brave. He goes into those comment sections and reads them, and he can handle it a lot better than I can, because I take it personal. I'll be like, hey, yeah. But I appreciate everybody who watches. I thank y'all all from the bottom of my heart. But give us the suggestions. We're more than happy to bring them into it. We're more than happy to watch them, give you our overview, what we think. Definitely, I got some more recommendations coming out. I just put out 5 recommendations for Isekai so far in 2023 that are great. Each one of them are a banger. They're going to leave you cliffhanging. None of them story drags. And then I'm working on the other 5 coming out tomorrow. that being said, well, not tomorrow. They'll come out soon. You'll see them because I don't know if we're gonna put this video out tomorrow, but they'll come out soon. You'll see it before the video, more than likely. So, give us some more suggestions for what y'all like to see. We opened up a Twitter page, so you're more than welcome to comment on there as well. We got TikTok going. We got our Facebook room going. We had 2 new members this week, and we thank you guys. I'll click right there. Nick, man, do you want to? I know you can cut this part out. Do you want to just like anyone who joins our group, like join the Facebook group? Do you want to announce their usernames and stuff like that? Do you want to do that, or as a little yeah? Or I guess at the end of the video, oh man, I don't want to put that much work on you. I mean, we can announce it, say it, the same versus having to type it or something like that. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, I know we can't do like with Twitter because Twitter goes by like, man, some days you can get like 10, 15 people one day, but our Facebook group is a little slower and we get like
one shout out or something.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. I was just throwing it out there, man. I was just throwing that idea out there, and it came out when I was thinking about it right now. I know we don't have no Patreon subscribers, so we can't do that yet. So, all right. So, I guess you want to count us down to go back into the closing.
Yeah.
All right. So, our 2 new subscribers, thank you very much to our YouTube subscribers. We thank you very much. Nick, it's always been a pleasure. We're wrapping it up. Thank you very much for the opportunity, guys, to do this for y'all. And once again, let us know if you have any suggestions. And I know I keep preaching it because I can run all day on things that I like in anime. Ask Nick. This is my life. Gym, anime, God. My family's fit. No, I'm just joking. It's like that Dwight Schrute from The Office. Battlestar Galactica beats Bears. Battlestar Galactica. But yeah. So Nick, you want to close us out, sir? The purveyor of all things YouTube.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for watching our videos, man. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like he said, give us any recommendations you want to see. There's a lot of anime. There's a lot of movies coming up. We're going to be giving y'all some of those. Check out the other animes that we offer that we're going to be doing. By the time this video is out, we should have our Record of Ragnarok season 1 and season 2 out. So check them both out. Let us know what you think of that anime. If you haven't seen it, get a little glimpse of what we saw and explaining everything into more depth before season 3 comes out. But yeah, thank y'all for being here, man. Follow our Facebook down in the description below. Go at us on Twitter. Go follow our TikTok. I'll have all the links there for you. And y'all have a good one, man. Peace.
Peace.